Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another true crime episode here on my YouTube channel. We are in a different setting today. Usually I would be on the floor. I would be with that table and my mic and my computer and the whole setup, but I have been seeing a lot of comments lately that the audio in those videos doesn't sound the best. Some of you don't like the audio, some of you just don't like the setup in general. And the reason I do that setup, just to first and foremost, is because I also have a podcast. So while I film the video, I'm also recording my podcast. My podcast is called Killer Instinct. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for those who don't know. So it is convenient to film the podcast and the YouTube video at the same time. If you guys aren't liking that, then I don't really care about convenience. I do want to cater to what you guys are wanting to see. So after you watch this video, let me know in the comments below what setup you like better. If you prefer the floor, very much more like professional setup, or if you prefer this, which is a little bit more, I don't want to say laid back, but it's just a different vibe. It's just a very different vibe. So let me know in the comments below which one you prefer better. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we are covering the case of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. Evelyn was, like I said, 15 months when she went missing this past December 2019. However, she wasn't reported missing until February 18th, 2020. This case takes place in Tennessee, and I was just in Tennessee about 3 weeks ago while the search for Evelyn was going on. And all that was on the news while I was there for 10 days, was for the search for Evelyn. I will say, when it comes to Evelyn's case, there aren't a lot of stone cold facts, and that's part of what makes this case really frustrating. And I do believe that as time passes and as weeks and months go by, there will be more information that is released, but you will see as we go through the case that there aren't a lot of stone cold facts in this. So with all of that being said, I'm sorry for the long intro, but let's just jump right on into it today. So to understand what happened to Evelyn, I think it's really important to understand what led us to this point and what the backstory is that led us here. Evelyn Boswell's mother is a young woman named Megan Boswell. Megan was born on March 21st, 2001 to her parents Angela and Tommy Boswell Sr. Megan had an older brother named Tommy Boswell Jr., who was also the child of Tommy Boswell Sr. as well as Angela Boswell, and the four of them lived in Sullivan County, Tennessee. The upbringing that Tommy Jr. and Megan had was really anything but smooth sailing. There was a lot of domestic violence going on within that household on both sides. There was domestic violence reports saying Angela attacked Tommy Sr. with a pen and stabbed him in the neck. Different reports also said that Tommy Sr. was the one who was attacking Angela. There was just a lot of chaos going on in that household, and a lot of chaos with Tommy Sr. and Angela's relationship in general. After they had Megan, Tommy Sr. and Angela had Elijah, and after about a year of Elijah being born, Angela filed for divorce against Tommy Sr. Angela filed for this divorce in September of 2014, and at this point Megan was about 13 years old. But after Tommy Sr. and Angela got a divorce, they ended up getting back together again. And once they got back together again, they ended up having another child. They had a daughter named Charlotte, and after they had Charlotte is when they separated for the final time. Just for reference, Charlotte was born in 2015, and Angela and Tommy Sr. separated for the final time in 2018. I do want to talk about Angela for a second, because along with a lot of the Boswell family members, she is very prominent in this case. So Angela has been in and out of jail for different things. She was arrested for driving with a suspended license, and when she got pulled over, the police figured out that her kids were in the back seat of the car and they didn't have seatbelts on. Along with that, the registration and license plate were expired, so she ended up getting arrested for this. And while she was in jail, Tommy Sr. actually went to court and he asked the judge for custody over his 3 kids, and he would only be able to get custody of Megan, Elijah, and Charlotte because they were all under the age of 18. Tommy Jr. at this point was over the age of 18, so he was kind of just doing his own thing on his own. Tommy Sr. actually told the judge that he was in fear of his own life and his children's lives. He told the judge that Angela had exposed his kids to drug activity and people with criminal records. And so the judge actually granted custody to Tommy Sr. while Angela was still in prison. Once he was able to get custody of his 3 kids, he ended up moving them back to Muddy Creek, Tennessee, and that leads us up to the past couple months. So Evelyn's father is a man named Ethan Perry. Ethan Perry was born in 1999, and he is currently active in the military. He joined the military in 2017, right after he graduated high school, and as far as what him and Megan's relationship with each other was, that's pretty unclear, but he did join the military and was stationed in Louisiana. So because of him being in the military, it did kind of cause him to not be as prevalent in Evelyn's life. Evelyn Boswell was born on November 21st, 2018. Evelyn's described as the most happy baby anyone could ever meet. She always always loved people. She smiled, she laughed. She was just 15 months old. She was just a baby. Megan actually had full custody over Evelyn because in the state of Tennessee, it's required by law that if two parents have a child that aren't married, full custody automatically goes to the mother. And since that's the situation that occurred here, Megan got full custody of Evelyn from the get-go. In September of 2019, which was just a couple months before Evelyn was last seen, Megan wrote on her Facebook. She wrote a status on her Facebook, and I'm just gonna look over here so I can read that. It says, quote, "I'm not the best mom in the world, but I try so hard for this little beauty. I can't even explain the love I feel for her, and I know she loves me too. Lately, my life's been really sucky, but she'll come and reach for me and say, 'Mom,' and my heart melts and I'm reminded of her unconditional love," end quote. So let's talk about what happened last month, February 18th, 2020. Now, it's so crazy to think that this literally just happened a month ago, a little over a month ago by the time you guys are going to see this video. This has all just happened in the span of a month. So on February 18th, 2020, Tommy Boswell Sr., so Megan's father, called the police to report Evelyn missing, saying that she hadn't been seen by anyone since December 2019. Evelyn had not been seen since December 2019, and no one had called to report her missing until 2 months later on February 18th, 2020, a 15-month-old. So let's talk about Megan's living situation. So Megan actually lived on her father's property. Tommy Sr. has a compound, a huge piece of land, and on this land he has a double bay garage, a work shed. He also ran his paving company out of his compound. He also had a stable full of dump trucks and other working equipment. So Megan, her two younger siblings, as well as Tommy Sr. all lived on the same property. And Evelyn was missing for 2 months and no one called the authorities. I do want to say by December 2019, Angela was already released from jail, and she also has a new boyfriend. This boyfriend's name is William McCloud. They live elsewhere in Tennessee. They don't live on the compound. So like I said, Tommy Sr. reported Evelyn missing on February 18th, 2020, and an Amber Alert was issued for Evelyn Boswell on February 19th, 2020. So the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department immediately jumped on this case, and the Sullivan County Sheriff actually came out and did a press conference. And when he did this press conference, he said that he has never in his entire career seen a case like this. The sheriff also said in this press conference that the police were looking for a silver/gray 2007 BMW at this point. The sheriff didn't say who he thought was in that car, why they were looking for that car. All he said was they wanted to talk to the people who had that car because they just wanted them to answer some questions for him. Let's talk about what Megan, the mother of Evelyn, is saying is happening. And personally, this is where I get very frustrated in this case, is the police sat down with Megan, and Megan told the police that she last saw Evelyn on December 26th, 2019, so the day after Christmas. And the first story that Megan told police was that Evelyn was last seen with the babysitter. So Megan said that Evelyn was with the babysitter, but she actually refused to tell police the name of this babysitter, which if you know true crime, you know that this has Zanny the Nanny, Casey Anthony written all over it. Megan said that she left Evelyn with the babysitter and thought that she could trust her while Megan was at work. Megan said that she hasn't been able to get in touch with the babysitter, but the reason she didn't call the police and report Evelyn missing is because she was afraid that if she called the police and reported her daughter missing, that would spark anger with the person who has Evelyn and they could act out irrationally and end up hurting Evelyn in the end. So she said she was just protecting Evelyn in this. This all being said, I do think I have to remind you guys, Megan is 18 years old. She became a mom at 17. So just keep in mind, she is young. And so I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but I do want to say she is young. So after the first story that Megan told police, which was the babysitter has Evelyn, Megan then changed her story. The second story that Megan told police was that Angela, Megan's mother and Evelyn's maternal grandmother, was the one who took Evelyn and threatened Megan if she ever tried to get her back. Now this story kind of ties in William McCloud because William was with Angela at this point in time. And William also has a pretty hefty criminal record, including some more violent crimes, which is why police don't think it's completely out of the question that maybe he did have something to do with it as well. No one is ruled out in this case. Not one person in this family has been ruled out because everything is so beyond bizarre. Police have come out and said that even though Megan said that the last time she saw Evelyn was on December 26, 2019, they have reason to believe that Evelyn was actually last seen anywhere from December 10th to December 11th, 2019. So I want to go back to the silver BMW that the sheriff from the Sullivan County Police Department said that the police were looking for. So the police did end up finding this vehicle. They found the silver BMW, same make, same model, same license plate number, same everything. And when they pulled the car over, the people inside of the car were William McCloud and Megan's mother, Angela. Angela and William were arrested for stealing a BMW. This car was actually stolen. The person whose car it was actually got in contact with police and said that they were trying to sell the car to Megan. Before any finalizing, before any payment went through, the car went missing. And William actually said to the police when the police pulled him over in the BMW that Megan had gifted the car to him. Police did search the car but did not find any sign of Evelyn in the vehicle. So on February 21st, 2020, Megan does her first public interview. Megan was actually at the Bristol family court for an undisclosed reason. And after she was finished in court, she walked outside and there was a news channel waiting for her to ask her some questions, which she happily answered. The reporter asked Megan to describe Evelyn, what she likes, what she doesn't like, kind of baby she was. And like I said in the beginning, Megan describes Evelyn as a super happy baby. She loves everyone. She loves bath time. Her favorite song is Baby Shark. Things like that kind of made Megan be portrayed as a really loving mother who just wants her baby back. And throughout the entirety of this interview, Megan just kept saying, I want Evelyn back. I want Evelyn to come home. Bring her back. I just want her to come home. Something about this interview seemed off. And Megan also said in this interview that she knows who has Evelyn. She told the reporter she knows who has Evelyn. She can't disclose that information because it's part of the investigation, but she knows who has Evelyn and didn't report Evelyn missing because she was trying to protect her. She said she left Evelyn with someone that she trusted, and now that she hasn't seen her daughter in 2 months, she's worried for her safety. She's tried to get in contact with the person that has her and they're not answering her phone calls or her texts or anything like that. And like I said, she said she was trying to protect Evelyn. Another person to talk about in this case is a guy named Hunter Woods. Now, Hunter and Megan briefly dated on and off for a couple weeks in this past December. Now, according to Hunter, he said that he knew about Evelyn, but he never met Evelyn in person. Hunter said that Megan told him that Evelyn was actually with her biological father, which is why Evelyn and Hunter never got to meet. But Ethan Perry was in Louisiana. He was in Louisiana this whole time, stationed there. So Evelyn wasn't with Ethan at this time. So it just makes me think, if Evelyn wasn't with Ethan, where was she? On February 24th, Megan changed her story again. She said the last time that she saw Evelyn was just a couple days prior to Christmas of 2019, this past year. And she did stick to the part of the story where she said that Angela is the one that has Evelyn. Megan said that Angela is a very manipulative person, very vindictive, has a bad agenda, just painted her in a very, very negative light. Not saying she deserves to be painted in a positive one, but that's just how she portrayed her. Police were able to figure out that Angela and William had actually gone and visited a campsite in Virginia. Mind you, I don't think I mentioned this before. Angela and William McCloud, when they were arrested in the vehicle, they were arrested in North Carolina. They live in Tennessee and they were arrested in this car in North Carolina. And now with where we're at now on February 24th with Megan telling this new story, police were able to figure out that Angela and William had actually gone and visited a campsite in Virginia. So we've got Tennessee, North Carolina, and now Virginia. And police went and searched that campsite through and through and were not able to find any sign of Evelyn anywhere. In this third story that Megan told, she said that the night Evelyn went missing, Angela was babysitting Evelyn while Megan was at work. According to Megan, she said Angela just never gave her back. Megan also told the police that the night before Tommy Sr. had called the police to report Evelyn as missing, he had actually called Angela, and he told Angela that he was going to call the police and report Evelyn as a missing person, and Angela apparently freaked out. She told Tommy Sr. that if that happened, she was going to have to leave and never come back, and she also said that if he did that, he was going to regret it. So let's just take a breather for a second, because if you are confused, and if none of this is making sense to you, that is probably because this case does not make any sense. You have so many different stories floating around. No facts, no proof, no evidence. Like I said in the beginning, there's no stone cold facts in this. We don't know when the last time Evelyn was seen. We don't know who the last person who had Evelyn was. She was missing for 2 months before she was reported missing. So this whole case is super complex. And to add on to that, after she had told the police her third story, Megan actually got in contact with a news station via Facebook Messenger. She told this news station that she wasn't able to take a polygraph test to prove her innocence in this case because she's pregnant, which is a total curveball. Like, that came out of nowhere. And when police got a hold of these messages, they actually came out and said that they were very surprised to see that Megan said this at all, because police said they never even asked Megan to take a polygraph test in general. So the fact that she would just throw that out there on her own free will was just very off-putting. It was just bizarre. So then on February 26th, police actually arrested Megan, and they arrested her for filing false police reports. Because at this point, police did not know what to believe. Megan has told so so many different stories. Police had literally said that every time they went back and talked to Megan, she would change her story. It was a completely different story. When she was arrested and put into jail, it was proven that Megan was actually not pregnant. So this whole thing about I can't take a polygraph because I'm pregnant, she wasn't pregnant. So now that leaves us at March 6th, 2020, which was just a couple weeks ago at this point. On March 6, 2020, authorities found the remains of Evelyn Boswell in the working shed on Tommy Boswell Sr.'s property. Like I said, Tommy Sr. has a compound. It's a very large compound. There's 3 houses, a working shed. He runs his business off of it, but Evelyn was found in the working shed on his property. Evelyn was found wearing the exact same clothes that she was described last seen in. She was in a pink tracksuit. She was also wearing pink sneakers and had a pink bow in her hair. When authorities found Evelyn's remains, she was surrounded by diapers and toys and other baby clothes. I do want to back up a couple of days though. I want to back up to February 28th. On February 28th, authorities were seen searching a mobile home near Boone Lake. The search warrant that authorities had claimed that the authorities were looking for a pillow as well as a piece of styrofoam and any other belongings that could belong to Evelyn Boswell. So if you're wondering whose trailer this is, this mobile home belonged to Tommy Boswell Jr., Megan's older brother. The media actually captured an image of authorities removing a bag from underneath the mobile home. It was like an orange-yellow looking bag that they removed from underneath the mobile home. They were also seen removing what looked to be a pillow from the mobile home as well. Now there are a lot of rumors that are floating around out there. There is a rumor that Angela confided in a cellmate and told this cellmate that Megan had accidentally smothered Evelyn and that is how she died. Which if you think about it, if you think of the one reason that police would want to get a pillow from someone's house to test for evidence, there's only so many different options that come with that. There also is a question as to if Evelyn's body was placed in the shed or if that is the spot in which she died at, meaning she passed away in a different location and whoever was responsible for it took her body and placed it in the working shed, or if she was already in the working shed and ended up passing away in there. So once the remains that were found in the working shed were named to be Evelyn's and identified as Evelyn Boswell, the entire Boswell family has stopped talking, including Tommy Sr. Tommy Sr. has called the media vultures and has said that they have no compassion. William McCloud has also yelled at the media for different things, demanding them to get off his property. He has also come out and said though that Megan is much more responsible than she is taking credit for, and she is just trying to paint Angela as the full-on bad guy in this situation, which he says is not true. William's grandmother actually came forward and said that William and Angela showed up on her doorstep in North Carolina, which is where they were arrested with the BMW. William's grandmother said they showed up on her doorstep and William was covered in just water. He was super wet, his clothes were soaking wet, and he had blamed it on the fact that the pipe in their motel had actually burst, and that's why William's clothes were soaking wet. According to William's grandmother, she says that the reason that William was at her house is because he was asking her for money. Once William's grandmother came forward and told police this, police did a full-on search in a nearby pond near William's grandmother's house. The search came up empty-handed because now we know Evelyn was actually on Tommy Sr.'s property. So let's talk, because here's the thing. Police have not come forward and said what the cause of death for Evelyn was, what the autopsy results were, when they believe she passed away. None of it. They haven't come up with any of it. And so we don't know a lot of facts, but here is what I do know. I know that a mother whose child goes missing, if they were not involved whatsoever, they're going to report their child missing. What really gets me about this case is that this entire family knows what happened. It's very clear this entire family knows what happened because Megan lives on the same property as her father, as her siblings. She sees her mother. And so for every single person in this family to now stop talking is very, very telling. And also, if someone in the family didn't know what happened, they're going to be calling the police. And I know Tommy Sr. did call the police, but he's not going to wait 2 months to call the police. That's what really gets me in this one. That's where I really get confused, is Tommy Sr. is the one who called the police, yet Evelyn's remains were found on his property. Again, we talked about if she was placed there. I mean, if we're just like thinking out loud and thinking of theories, the only thing that I can think of, like if we're going with Megan's story, which Megan is untrustworthy to begin with, but if Angela did possibly have something to do with this and snuck onto Tommy Sr.'s property and placed Evelyn in the working shed out of spite or because she wanted to frame him for it, because also if you think about it, I would feel like the first thing that police would do when knowing that there's a child missing is search search the entire property. I feel like they would do that. I feel like there's no way they would not do that. Even if Megan told them that the last time she saw Evelyn was with Angela somewhere else, I feel like you would search that property through and through to rule out everything. Don't leave any stone left unturned. If they did do that in the very beginning, was she not there and was she then placed there afterwards? Like, why wasn't this the first place that was searched? I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I can't piece it together. It also surprised me how open and willing Megan was to talk to the news outlets and the news reporters. I wonder if in her mind it made her seem that she was more willing to cooperate. And I don't know. I think the possibilities here are endless. I do think that there's going to be a lot of new information that comes out over the next few weeks. As of right now, Megan is still in custody. And like I said, we do not have a cause of death for Evelyn. None of that. There has not been any new information that has been released at the time that I am filming this, which is Sunday, March 15th, But by the time you guys see this on Thursday, there might be new information that comes out. So who knows? Maybe we'll do an update video on this. So let me know in the comments below your theories, what you think, who you think's involved in this. I think this whole family is guilty. Personally, this whole family is guilty of neglect. I do know that Ethan Perry and his family have come out with a statement saying that they just want to take this time to grieve and to respect their privacy and all of those things. But I think as far as the Boswell family, I think they're all guilty, personally. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And with that being said, that is going to be all for me today. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Savannah. I make videos 3 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You should subscribe and join the family. I love you guys so much. I'll be back in a couple days with a brand new video. Wash your hands, stay safe. I love you. Stay inside. See you in a couple days.